He saw the missed calls, 5 of them. All from mommy. He sighed, dropped the phone on the bed, and kept dressing. There was a meeting at 9 a.m., and he couldn't afford to be late. She'll call again, he muttered. She always did. Her calls had become background noise, like traffic horns in Lagos. Predictable. Unavoidable. Easy to ignore. But 60 kilometers away, in her tiny rented room in Ajagana, Mama sat by the window, phone in hand, breathing slowly. She had been coughing blood since yesterday. Her chest felt tight. But she didn't want to panic him. Mothers never do. She just wanted to hear his voice, tell him she made stew, and maybe, just maybe, ask if he could come today. She looked at the pot again, then whispered, "Let me hold on until evening." By afternoon, Fizeo was already on Instagram, laughing at skits, swiping reels, lost in his world. He almost forgot she called. His phone buzzed again, but this time it was from his boss. "Come celebrate with us. Promotion's in." He grinned. Finally. Years of grind had paid off. He'd send Mama money later, he thought. She'd understand. Meanwhile, Mama was wrapping 2 pieces of meat in foil paper, the way she used to when he was little and they had nothing. She kept the food on a stool, covered it carefully, and sat on the bed. She didn't eat. Didn't drink. Just watched the door. Her breathing slowed. The phone slipped from her lap. And the only ride she took that day was the one in the back of a neighbor's Kiki to the nearby clinic, her hand still clutching her son's. Fizeo woke up to 15 missed calls. All from a neighbor. Panic set in. He called back. "Your mama, she collapsed," the woman said, voice trembling. "We rush am go General Hospital." Fizeo didn't brush his teeth. Didn't wear his belt. He flew down the stairs, hailed a ride, and kept whispering, "Please, God, let her be okay." At the hospital, the stench of disinfectant and quiet pain in the waiting area made his skin crawl. A nurse walked up to him with her eyes lowered. "Are you her son?" she asked. He nodded. She kept your name on her lips until the very end. He collapsed on the bench. Everything around him faded into a blur. But what cut deepest wasn't the loss, it was what they handed him, a stained wrapper, her broken phone, and the covered plate of stew. Untouched. Still warm. Fizeo sat in his mother's tiny room, holding the covered plate with trembling hands. The room was still warm from the stew pot. It smelled like memories, like childhood hunger and midnight laughter. He uncovered it. The rich red oil glistened. 2 large chunks of meat stared up at him. The same kind she would never eat, always saving for him. He touched the side of the plate and jerked back. It was still hot. Hot like guilt. Hot like a truth he could no longer run from. His chest tightened. He realized she must have cooked this not even 12 hours ago. Meaning, she was waiting. Waiting while he was drinking. While he was laughing. While he was reposting memes. While she was dying. He tried to call her name, just once, maybe hoping for a miracle. "Mama," his voice cracked. But there was no reply. No weak smile. No hand stretching from the bed to pat his back. Just stillness. And the sound of a neighbor's baby crying somewhere outside. The doctor came back with the form for death certification. The word "time of death" made him feel like the whole world paused. 3:38 a.m. That was the exact time he'd laughed the loudest at a TikTok video. He dropped the pen. He couldn't even hold it. His hands didn't feel like his own. They were too late. He was too late. Back at her room, he picked up her old wrapper from the bed. It still smelled like her, dust, bomb, onions, and love. He held it to his face, breathing it in like he was trying to inhale her soul. The same wrapper she used to tie him to her back when he was a baby. The same one she wore on every school visiting day. He remembered the days he used to get angry when she visited him at his university, wrapper faded, slippers broken, her head tie never straight. He felt ashamed then. Now. He would trade everything, his new job, his salary, his car, just to see her walk in that wrapper one more time. One more time. At the burial meeting, they spoke of logistics and coffin sizes. One man said, she always said when her son made it, she would kill goat and throw party. Everyone nodded. Fizel just stared. He didn't know that. He never listened long enough to hear her dreams. He thought she only worried about bills and sickness. Now, everyone had opinions. Everyone had memories. The woman who gave him meat at Christmas, the neighbor who said Mama once paid her child's school fees quietly. All of them had stories. But Fizel, all he had was a plate of stew and a heart full of regret. How can a child claim to love someone, and yet know nothing about their quiet sacrifices? 2 days after the burial, he opened her old phone. It was cracked and barely functioning. One voice note sat unsent in her WhatsApp drafts. He clicked play. Fizel, my Pekin. I know you're busy. I just wanted to say I'm proud of you. I may not see you every day, but I pray for you every night. Even if you forget me, I will never forget you. Just come and eat with me one day. That's all. He dropped the phone. His body shook like he was freezing under a burning sun. He wept like a child. And this time, no one told him to be strong. Because some pain is supposed to break you. Fizel sat by the corner of the room, legs pulled up, face buried in his knees. He whispered over and over again, I'm sorry, Mama. I'm sorry. But the room had no ears. The person who needed to hear those words had already gone. He thought about all the things he planned to say, thank you, I love you, I know I haven't been there, but I will try. Now, the only audience to his apology was the cold wall and a buzzing fly that wouldn't go away. He practiced the speech again in his mind, but with every word, he broke down more. Some apologies are medicine. But others come too late, and instead of healing, they just linger, as open wounds. On the 7th day, tradition demanded a meal be made for the departed. He cooked the same stew. Followed her recipe to the letter. Smoked fish, crayfish, scent leaf, even the tiny pinch of sugar she always said gave it a joy. But the taste wasn't right. No matter how much he tried, it didn't smell like hers. It didn't taste like hers. He placed the food on the stool, same place she used to keep his. He stared at it for a long time. Come and eat with me, Mama, he said in a trembling voice. He waited, hoping for wind, a sign, something. But the silence that followed was louder than thunder. He bowed his head and cried into the plate. The ghost didn't eat. But the living son was starving for forgiveness. The morning light entered the room she once called her kingdom. Fizel looked around and saw pieces of her everywhere, her old Bible, the wrapper she always folded under her pillow, the broken radio, and her comb with strands of white hair. Every item whispered, you weren't here. He picked up each object with care, wiping tears from them like they could still feel. Her handwriting on a scrap paper broke him, by Maggie. Tell Fizel to eat fruits. He found receipts. Half-written prayers. Letters she never posted. She had dreams. Plans. Worries. And he, her only child, didn't know any of them. He didn't even ask. She gave him her whole world, and he gave her silence. Tucked behind the old cupboard were her rubber slippers, faded blue, cracked, but still standing. The same pair she wore the last time she walked to church, even though her legs were swollen. He picked them up and held them like glass. It was hard to explain the pain of missing something so small. But those slippers weren't just footwear. They were footprints. He placed them by the bed, just like she used to. And for a moment, he imagined she would walk in and wear them again, nagging him about his hair or telling him to eat before leaving. But the door never opened. And he realized the slippers would never move again. Like her. Still. Quiet. Gone. He stood in front of the mirror wearing the suit she bought from her last cooperative savings. The one he refused to wear because it looked too cheap. He looked at himself now, tie perfect, haircut clean, shoes shining. Everything looked good except his eyes. He stared into his own reflection and whispered, "You failed her." The boy who promised to build her a house. The boy who used to hold her hand to cross the road. The boy she sacrificed everything for had become the man who ignored her. He stared until his face blurred from the tears. "You don't deserve peace," he said to himself. Not yet. The church was full. People cried loudly. Women wore uniform lace. Speakers blasted slow hymns. The pastor spoke about heaven. Fizeo stood by her coffin, dry-eyed. The real mourning had already taken place, privately, bitterly, days before. This wasn't her dream burial. She never wanted a crowd. All she ever wanted was dinner with her son. He remembered when she said, "No need for party when I die. Just come and gist with me when I'm alive." He didn't listen. Now, the noise felt empty. The prayers felt too late. Everyone came. Everyone cried. But the only tears that truly mattered were the ones he would carry alone for the rest of his life. Weeks later, Fizeo returned to her room. Empty. Clean. But still holding memories in the walls. He placed the same stool at the center, the same enamel plate on it, and filled it with rice and ogu stew. Then he sat beside it. Quietly. No phones. No noise. Just him and the plate. He took one bite. Then another. Then stopped. He whispered, "Mama, I'm here. I came. I'm sorry it took death for me to finally show up." The plate sat there, half full. He couldn't finish it. He left it there, stood up, and walked away with tears flowing freely. Because now he understood. She wasn't just feeding him food all those years, she was feeding him love. And he starved her of it until it was too late. The end. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe for more stories.